Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Honorable Mention. Our honorable mention this month is the amazing Dr. Sara Shapiro-Plevan. She is the founder of Remonim Consulting and co-founder and CEO of the Gender Equity and Hiring Project. Check that out at genderequityandhiringproject.org. She's a lifelong mensch, and she's a longtime friend of both myself and Aaron. And Sara's work really empowers people across the country, and we're so glad to honor her this month. Sara, thanks so much for taking time to be with us.
It is my pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so excited to have you. And we're going to hear a little bit about the amazing work you do. But first, we're going to start with a game because we love games here at the Bible Players.
Awesome.
So we're going to play a little game called Ezra, the helping game, Sara, because you help us so much and help so many people so much. And we're going to get creative with our help. So we're all going to take a moment and find an object nearby, but keep it off screen, but just pick an object and keep it close by. So once we've each got an object, we're going to make up a problem, and then the other person has to solve it using the object. So why don't we have Aaron, why don't you make up a problem for me to solve? I'll make one up for Sara to solve, and then Sara, you can make one up for Aaron to solve. We have to use our object. So Aaron, why don't you get us started?
All right. I could use some Ezra, some help. I have a big dinner tonight, and I don't know what to cook for the main entree.
Have no fear. Ezra is here. I've got these scissors here. So what you're going to do is you're just going to walk around your neighborhood and you're just going to make clippings off the trees and just find some interesting fruit, maybe some berries, maybe some flowers are edible. Just be careful with mushrooms, but you're going to have a delicious and unique and hyper-local dinner. So you're welcome.
Yeah.
Sara, I need some help. Maybe you can help me out. All my socks have holes in them, and I really want to wear some socks with my shoes. Can you help me out?
Well, here's what I'm going to really recommend that you do. I'm going to recommend that you pick out your passport and that you fly to Rome and you go to this very special shop right around the corner from the Vatican, where they have a special selection of socks that only popes are allowed to wear. You can get a pair for yourself, but you're going to need a passport.
I love it. I love it. Sounds very reasonable. That's perfect. That's great. All right, Sara, now I'm sure you have a problem that Aaron can solve with his object.
I definitely have a problem. I have a window that won't close. I don't know how to close it. Does it need like, an extra curtain, something? Does it need my muscles? I have no idea. I can't close it. I wonder if you can help me close it, because I live on the second floor. It's noisy outside. It gets dusty. Can you help me?
Oh, have no fear, Sara. Ezra is here. I have this plant. So you just hold this up to the window and the window eventually will close, because it will be like, you know what? Got to stop the fumes from hurting this little creature. And then you'll have a plant by the window.
It'll absorb the sunshine too.
Perfect. And the water that inevitably comes in. That's great. It's perfect for the plant. Amazing. Thank you, Sara. Thank you, Aaron, for playing the helping game. We love that one. And play it at home the next time you're on Zoom. It's always fun. So Sara, you are honorable mention, not just because you're a wonderful person, but because you do so many amazing things professionally. And you, as we mentioned, you are the co-founder and CEO of an organization called the Gender Equity and Hiring Project. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Gender Equity and Hiring Project?
Absolutely. We have the most self-explanatory name. Our work is really meant to help people of all genders approach hiring, advancement, and employment in a way that makes it fair for everyone. The fact is that sometimes hiring really isn't fair. Sometimes we use our connections to get ahead. Sometimes we don't have those connections to get ahead. Sometimes we use, a bunch of different things about ourselves to get ahead. But what we really want to do is make sure that everybody has an equal shot to get ahead. And we work specifically in the Jewish community because the Jewish community actually has a long history of making it so that, we advance certain people and not others. And we want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot to really make it into the kind of jobs that illuminate their full potential as people.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. I think it's so important. And like you said, I mean, it's such a well-named organization that I know exactly what you're doing and how I need to get involved, you know.
If anybody in your audience wants to come up with a really creative new name for us, we would love it. It's really self-explanatory, but maybe it's a little too self-explanatory.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the projects you've worked on, and I think really had a lot of success with, is salary transparency in job listings. Can you talk a little bit about that work in the Jewish community and what that means, salary transparency, and kind of how you've worked on that?
Absolutely. So when I was about 15, I accepted my first job as a babysitter. Spent the evening with some really lovely kids. At the end of the night, the family I was babysitting for handed me a $10 bill. I didn't know that I was only going to be making like $1.50 an hour. I'm old. But I didn't ask first. They also didn't tell me first. Salary range transparency is really this idea that we have to put the amount that folks are going to get paid, whether it's an hourly rate or a salary, right there out front for people so they know whether it's the right match for them. You don't want to be the kind of person who wants to make $1 million a year applying for a job that pays minimum wage. So salary transparency enables the right people to apply for the right jobs and the best match to be made possible. The good news is that it's not just something that I'm advocating for. People all across the Jewish community are working on this together. And the best news is that people at the state level are also advocating for this. So there are states like Colorado and states like Connecticut that are working on this. And in November, New York City as well is going to be making this legal as well.
So great to hear those big changes. And I mean, I've just seen in the last year or two how much it has really affected what the norm is in the community. And personally, I've felt empowered to mention to people when they share a job listing. This happened recently with a day school director position, and I didn't have a salary, and I just wrote back and said, "This seems great. Just want you to connect you with this resource, and this is where I learned about this and the importance of this." And they were very open to it, right? And I think it's becoming more and more the norm, and the outliers are the ones that don't have that. And I think it's so great.
And I'll add one more thing. A lot of folks, and there's a move in the rest of the world to do this, is to really shame people when they don't, right? Like, you're supposed to do this. Why haven't you done it? It's ridiculous that you haven't. Mm-hmm. There's even a hashtag on Twitter to share the salary for people who are not doing it, to shame them into doing it. But what you're demonstrating is exactly the opposite. When we ask people, we just inquire about it and encourage people to do it, give them maybe some of the language, some of the tools to do it. We can celebrate when they actually do. And we're trying to sort of co-opt that hashtag by celebrating the people, especially in the Jewish community, who are doing this, to say, look at this organization that's doing this amazing work by sharing their salaries, to really acknowledge that it's possible to do this and to call out the good where we can.
That's great. I love that. Really, hakarat hatov, the idea of like celebrating the good, lifting up the great work, and having those tough conversations one-on-one or in private, right? We don't need to have everything be public online. So Sarah, how can folks get involved in the work you're doing for the Gender Equity and Hiring Project?
So we have lots of ways for people to get involved. We are, of course, in all spaces on social media. So come find us. Would love to have you involved. We also do work embedded inside Jewish organizations. So we have gender equity advocates who we gather together in a cohort. These are folks who are inside Jewish organizations, trained literally to speak up when they see something that just doesn't sit well with them, either around implicit bias that they see sort of unfolding in hiring or advancement or different employment processes, or something else, right? Something that enables them to say, hey, this doesn't look quite right to me. Can you tell me why it's going on and maybe what I can do to help change? So we do that. We also have a variety of different kinds of working groups, people who are gathering together around different advocacy issues to help make change. And all of this is around hiring, advancement, and employment. We really are trying to keep ourselves very narrowly focused, recognizing that sometimes little bits of change can actually have really some powerful impact. We know we can't change the entire ecosystem all at once, but really we can take some small steps together. We can push people in the right direction.
Amazing. Thank you, Sarah. And I think it's just such important work. And like you said, I think the ripple effects of these small and focused changes, and I would say your work is so laser focused. And one of the things that I admire about it is really that it's trying to make those impacts, and it's been doing great.
I was told that laser focus was a good thing at a time when I did not want to be laser focused and I wanted to have a much broader reach. And a very wise teacher and mentor said, stick with your values, really stick with what you're doing. And that was hard to hear. I'm not always great with feedback, but it was the right thing.
That's great. Amazing. Well, we're all grateful for that mentor and for all your work. Aaron, did you want to jump in? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just boggles my mind that people can have job postings and listings without giving the salary of the job.
And it's super easy. You just leave it off. I forgot.
I really think that was the norm, and it's changing. I think, yeah. And I think if you read more materials on Sarah's website, you see all different benefits and the reasons it's so much better for the people internally in the organization, externally outside the organization, and definitely has inspired our work with the Bible players. And we've worked with Sarah as we've done more outreach and brought on new Bible players to say, what language, how do we talk about this? So people kind of, that our listings reflect our values. And when we put that up,
we know it's hard to ask, right? It's hard for people of all genders. It's hard to ask. It's hard to say, how much should I be making? It's not always clear. And especially for folks who are actors, right? Especially for people who are brand new at whatever work they're doing, people who are new at their careers, could be a teenager, right? First time babysitting, first time working in a part-time job. It's very hard to know where you start. You got to start somewhere. And that's great when the organization or the place that you're working for helps to give you some of those guidelines.
Great. Amazing. Well, Sarah, we wanted to do a little more improv with you as well, because that's our love, and we love bringing our personality. And so we wanted to play a little game called Amazing Advertisers. Okay. So for this one, Aaron and I have each brought a book. Aaron, you can grab your book too. I brought Why Wakanda Matters that I'm reading right now. This is edited by my friend, Dr. Sheena Howard, a future honorable mention, I'm sure. So this is a book. Aaron hopefully has a book nearby. What do you got there? Wonderful.
I have Rumi's Little Book of Life.
Okay, amazing.
Oh, excellent. Fantastic.
So Sarah, we're going to have you give us a page number and a word number on that page. And then Aaron and I are going to read those two words aloud. And those two words together are going to be the product that we have to sell and be amazing advertisers by just talking about it and then saying yes and to each other. So Sarah, what page and word number should we go for? Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. What did you say?
Oh, it would be inappropriate of me to pick anything other than a deeply Jewish number. So Andrew, I'm going to ask you to pick 18. And Aaron, I'm going to ask you to pick 36.
Okay, great. And what word number on that page?
Well, let's keep going with that. Let's do, what word number? I don't want to make you count so far.
Yeah, under 10, let's say the 10.
How about 10 for the 10 commandments?
Okay, great.
And 13, Aaron, for you for bar and bat mitzvah. I was gonna pick 613, but then we'd be here until all hours.
All right, I've got my word, Aaron. Do you have yours?
I do.
All right, let's say I'll say mine and then yours. So mine is think.
Mine is time.
Think time. All right. Well, we're so glad. We've got to tell you about think time. It's amazing. What are you missing in your life? You're missing think time. You're spending all your time doing, running, eating. You need think time. Am I right, Aaron?
You're right, Andrew. So just follow this chime. It's think time. No need to rhyme when you have think time. You've got to set time aside. That's why we are selling you a block of time, like a block of cheese, but it's 1 hour every day to just sit and think.
That's right. What we do is we shut down the power at your house and we only turn on a tiny candle that you can sit by, so that really all you can do is think. You can't do anything else. Your computer doesn't work. Your fridge doesn't work. You can't be distracted. It's think time.
Think time. We sell you the electric candle. It's $89.99, and it goes for 1 hour. And after that, think time is over. You must not think anymore.
That's right. Think time. It's the best time to think. All right. So that was...
I just have to say, I want to buy that. I want the first one. I want it autographed by both of you. And I just want to share that this past week, I was at a wonderful conference in which the idea of rest to spark creativity was described, and how folks who are, very busy and engaged in work, so many adults, most adults, don't actually do that. So we're not as creative as we actually should be. We don't take think time. I'm buying what you're selling, so please package it. I will sell it to every Jewish professional, and we will market it as a co-production of the Gender Equity and Hiring Project and the Bible Players. I am totally ready for it.
Amazing. It's great. It's going to be a book. It just says think time. You open it up and there's nothing in it.
Nothing
you just have
there.
to flip through it. Yeah.
Also a podcast. It's totally silent for 1 hour.
Yeah, there you go. Every time. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Sarah, so much for joining us, being our honorable mention.
Thank
we love
you
your
for
work.
having me. This is so much fun.
It's so great. We love the work you're doing. And please check out the Gender Equity and Hiring Project on all the social medias, as well as the interwebs. And we'll link to it here as well. So thanks again, Sarah. It was so much fun.
Thank you. I am a lifelong fan of your work, and I just want to admit that we're not cool. We're not on TikTok, but you can find us in other places.
Yeah, but maybe someday. Who knows?
Maybe
But all the
someday.
other places.
Maybe
Yeah.
someday. Thanks so
All right.
much. This was such fun.